Hello, hello there, and welcome back to International Fathers. I'm your host and your creator, Nelson Almuda Sr. As you know, I like to do recaps of my last show here. Last week we had the sensational phenomena Tracy N. Smalls here, and she talked about her dad, who allegedly supposed to have been the best dad in the world, but we debated that last week. And we probably can debate it for the rest of our lives. But she is the founder and the CEO of the Black Men Achievement Awards. Tracy also has a passion and a compassion when it comes to fathers and the lives of their children. You'll see her again real, real soon. Dads, fathers out there around the world, if you had a chance to visit your child, your children, and there was nothing stopping you or hindering you from getting to see them, and you didn't take the advantage or the opportunities to see and talk and visit them, I want to know why. Because your children, they need you. They truly, truly need you. We are very important in a child's life, and they need you. My next guest here is a reoccurring guest. She was a guest of mine probably in the early stages of International Fathers back in May. Her daughter also flew in from Chicago to talk about her story as far as her father is concerned too. To Marva Yvonne, also known as Big Mama Savage. And by the way, she is Chicago. So all you Chicago people out there, make sure you tune in and talk to her at 470-251-4343. She is currently living in the A. I think everybody that moves from Chicago seems to, when they move down here, instead of Atlanta or ATL, they call it the A. Hey, Georgia, me, you know, got much love for you because you broke it down at the Status Network launch party 2 days ago. By the way, if you missed that launch party, you missed a very exciting, nice time out there.
It was nice.
The people involved and orchestrated that, Jack Trey and Yannette Keefe, they did a fabulous job out there. With something giving back to your community,
Yeah.
which we believe that there'll be much more of those events happening here at Cleveland Avenue in Atlanta, Georgia, or College Park or East Point, Georgia, however you seem to call it. Anyway, she is an author, aspiring artist, particularly in rap. But today we're going to expound on some deeper questions about father and fatherhood as a life that she remember. As I said, she was on this show back in May, and she kind of started talking about it. I also want to give a shout out to V Speak Life, whose book just got featured in the Florida newspaper through Atlanta.
Okay.
So V, if you out there, give you that shout out. Infectious Smile, you
Right on,
470-251-4343. She was also a guest on on my talk show, also talking about her dad and the importance of fathers in their life. Right now, I'm going to introduce to some and going to present to others. Big Mama Savage.
Thank you.
How are you doing, lovely one?
I'm doing good. How about
Good.
yourself?
I am wonderful. A little bit more. I think I told you that we met first on Instagram. I was posting like I normally post about my work and my aspirations and my visions. And we hooked up on Instagram. And from Instagram, she shared with me an event that was happening in March, the film festival.
Film Hub. Yep.
And she gave me the information. I took heed to it, and we met at the film convention where I pitched my work for the very first time in front of a mass audience of people, and it felt good. And we've been connected ever since then. Like I said,
Right.
we talk on the phone. We like each other's posts. We share each other's posts on Facebook and on Instagram, mainly on Instagram. And you see she's a recurring guest. And this relationship of ours is just going to continue internationally.
International.
Okay? Without further ado, again, thanks for coming in today, taking time out of your busy schedule. Just want to go back and talk about fatherhood, because International Fathers, as you know, is all the positive about fathers.
Yeah.
The inspiring, the encouraging fathers be a part of children's lives. Also saluting and honoring fathers,
Yes.
which is underrepresented by wide numbers, by
Yeah.
wide margins.
Yes.
And my thing for creating International Fathers started years ago on YouTube, about 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Watching and seeing all the negative imagery of fathers internationally,
Right.
you know, no matter what race, creed, color, wealth, status, education status, just the negative of fathers, period. And then I used to try to get some of my work to the news stations in Baltimore,
Okay.
where I'm from, and I always got no.
Mm-hmm.
Some people say, well, how you know you got no?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't on nobody talk show. I wasn't on the news segments.
Okay.
I was on a couple of shows, but I got probably maybe 1 or 2 minutes, which is not enough to talk about fathers.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't say that I wasn't on shows. I just didn't get it enough time to expound on the importance of fathers.
Okay. How you
But
wanted to-
now,
Mhm.
Jack Trey and Yannette Keefe giving me this platform
All right.
to where as though it's not 1 minute I can talk about it,
Thanks in that.
but it's a whole hour where I can expound on fatherhood.
Yeah.
And I wanted to bring the whole thing of a dialogue to the table and talk about fathers.
Right.
It's not fathers all the time.
Mm-hmm.
It's mothers, as you see, talking about fathers,
Mhm.
daughters, children. Your daughter came on,
Right.
and just want to just salute. I was at work yesterday, where I ran across one of my guests, Anthony Dean,
Okay.
who was out there somewhere on a cruise. Congratulations again on your wedding last week. Hope you're enjoying it.
Congratulations.
And his daughter and I was talking, and she said, Mr. Moody, it's something, you know, how moms, especially single moms, will get a lot of credit for raising children, but single dads don't get
they don't get much knowledge.
as much as that.
Mm-hmm.
So that was another bulk reason why
Mm-hmm.
I started International Fathers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, to respond to that, first of all, thank you for having me here, and I
You're
really
quite
appreciate
welcome.
it. You know, and I enjoy talking with you every time, especially when we touch on the stuff that we need to touch on, which is speaking of them fathers, speaking of God, speaking of reality, just speaking of everything. So I feel good talking with you. So
Thank you.
this is just another homely visit, and I'm glad to be here to talk. But yeah, to respond to that, yes, fathers don't really get much acknowledgement. You know what I'm saying? For one, they want to make it as a negative thing anyway. You know, you already know, you mentioned
Yeah.
that. But you know what I mean? That's why it's just so, when people actually see a father taking time out with their children, they're so flabbergasted. And I know I am, because I'm like, oh my God. And then, I have my moments, which of course we're going to get to. But I'm like, oh wow, that's just so, it just do something to me. Get chills out them, like, yeah, see, and it's not, you know what I mean? Like I said, people don't blow the horn on that too much, you know what I mean? You don't get that much recognition. So it's like, okay, whatever. When you do finally do it, it's like, oh, okay. Well, okay, he probably trying to get some attention, right? You know what I'm saying? They have a
Right.
negative stereotype about it anyway. But that's why I'm telling you again and again and again, I'm so glad that you bringing this platform to the people
Thank
so
you.
that they can, you know what I mean? So that there can be more fathers to raise up. And even there may be, maybe some deadbeat fathers out there that may feel convicted because of this show and may get on their job. So once again, Moody, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you. And if you're not, get involved. Because I've always said to my triplets and other people that I never know whose life may be impacted by this show right here.
Yep.
And you're going to hear some of that later on in the show. But you never know who could be on the brink of just giving up on their children, on their life, and just take a bullet, a knife, jump off an 18-story building, just because they can't find a certain way to absorb what they're going through. This talk show is also there to help and encourage, inspire and to teach. I mean, I have a Facebook friend of mine who lives in the Philippines who sent me a message about 3 weeks ago, and she liked what I'm doing and said that it helped her out with her parenting.
Okay.
And I showed that to my children, and I said, you know what? that's coming from all the way from the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
You know, prayerfully, hopefully, I can meet her one day in person.
Right.
You know, but everybody whose life I touched through International Fathers, I may not meet.
Yeah. That's true.
You know, but I would like to meet as many as possible.
Yeah.
Especially if they were a dad who wasn't involved with their child or children due to unfortunate circumstances, and some is not his own.
Mm-hmm.
But let's talk about you now, because that I can talk about that till probably till like 9 o'clock, and the shows after me won't get a chance to get in here.
That's all right.
International Fathers, a talk show like no other. Let's go back to what you were saying about your dad. Were you?
Which point? Well, first, I don't know exactly. I just jump in there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I know the importance of a father being in their children's life because, you know, with their absence or whatever, and they're not around, a child can be, you know, can turn out to be. We already know some of the worst, you know, prospects out there. And luckily, I didn't turn to drugs. I didn't turn to alcohol. However, I turned to mental, you know what I mean, disability or whatever, not intentionally, but you know what I mean, it drove there eventually. And I mean, people can, just like you said, they can be on the brink, they can be ready to take their life, they can be ready to, you know what I'm saying, take somebody else, like they can snap, you know what I mean?
Right.
You never know what it is, but you know what I'm saying, it could be any void actually, because they could be suffering from a broken heart, they could be going through anything or whatever. But I know first and foremost to train, you know how the Bible says, train a child up in the way it should go. But anyway, if you have their father there in their presence, you know, from very young childhood, whatever, on up, you ain't got to worry about when they get older, they're going to be probably, it might happen, but it's less likely. You know what I mean? That they're going to turn to drugs, that they're going to be a gang member, a street person, whatever, and they're going to, you know what I'm saying, ruin their life, ruin other people's lives, whatever. So it's very, they're dead. You know I shared my story over and over again. We may just go off of script or whatever. But anyway, it was devastating with my dad not being there. And, you know, I remind you people out there, it's not that my dad had a choice. It's not like he was a deadbeat and just chose to, you know what I mean, turn his back on me and my siblings or whatever and just go his way. But he passed away when I was like 9 years old. And I didn't, of course, really understand at that time what was going on, the meaning of it. Well, all I know is that my dad is gone. And that right there had me devastated to the fullest. I was disappointed, and you know, like I said, for years I carried that. I resented my father. I'm always like, what's wrong? Why what was wrong with me? I'm not good enough, this and that. Why come I didn't get a chance to, you know, go visit with him or whatever? So, you know, it just took a lot of luck. It took a lot out of me, you know what I'm saying? So, but anyway, you can leave with your question if you want.
Now you were scheduled, because since you've been on the first time until now, a lot of people may not have heard the story. You were supposed to be going to visit your dad on a Friday for the weekend.
Right.
If I remember that.
Yeah.
But prior to you going to visit, he passed away.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
How did that devastated you, or how did that throw you for a loop, or something? Because I know it did something to you, because you were looking forward to that. How did it devastate you as a 9-year-old girl?
Okay. Well, first of all, going back, because you're right, maybe some newcomers did not, you know my story. Anyway, when I was younger, my father would, you know, come in because him and my mother were separated. But he would take, you know, each child at a time or whatever to visit with him, like for the weekend or whatever. And my two older siblings, which my older sisters, they got their turn. But however, when it got to my turn, my father fell ill, and a little time had passed or whatever. Then next thing you know, he passed away. And I didn't, excuse me, I wasn't ready for that one. Maybe it's because she put these tissues there. Excuse me, it's my cue.
Take your time.
But anyway, of course I wasn't ready for it. So anyway, like I said, that stirred up in me like, oh, it must be something wrong with me. Not good enough. What am I too bad? What, I don't talk enough? So I closed it even more. So I was more a silent person. I was, you know, so shy, so timid, and I was just excuse me, as a ball. And it's like, I don't know, I guess I can say like people took advantage of that. More so my uncle, which is adopted relative or whatever.
Okay.
So anyway, he ended up he molested me, and I've heard, as a matter of fact, Sonja Danette, you had on your show. Matter of fact, the same day that I came.
Correct.
So anyway, like she mentioned in her book, and which is true or whatever. A lot of times, a predator will actually prey on. Well, the victims are mostly people who are shy, people who are like maybe lonely, shut in, quiet or whatever. Because I don't know if the predator feel like, oh, they're not gonna say anything, so they are easier target. You know what I mean? So yeah. Statistics show there's something, but anyway, he did that to me, and it was like I was mad at my dad for that, because it's like, if you was here, you would have protected me.
Okay.
And I held that for some years up until, I say maybe I was in my 20s, so I kind of understood then. However, there was still some hurt within, So I was always trying to fill a void, but it was like, okay, I'm talking about the men, I'm talking about the promiscuity. I can't even say the word, but you know what I'm talking about. So anyway, I was always trying to fill that void. So it hurt me to where it's like, okay, now I'm going crazy because I can't find what's right. I'm never accepted. I can't fit in, and this is driving me up the wall. I'm not good enough for this person. That person not good enough. It's just a big whirlwind of just mess,
Okay.
So, and I would always say, what if my dad was still here?
What if your dad?
What type of person would I be? You know what I'm saying? And I know it. And I even said it to his family, which is his sisters and everything. So I let her know. I say, well, if I had been raised up with my dad, I know I would have been totally different. You know what I mean? Because the difference between their family and my family, or my side of the family, is like night and day. And I can honestly say that. And I hope y'all don't hate me out there for this, but that's how it is.
Okay.
That's how it is. And I just know that I was just been a whole different person. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say I would have been rich or highly successful, but I wouldn't have been so scared.
Right.
There's a lot of my dreams, a lot of things that I put behind me because I was too afraid to go out. Understand? So it's like when you're traumatized, those things they happen. So I didn't want to look at it like, oh, I'm just pointing the finger at my dad. I'm pointing the finger at my dad. But however, when I think and put, how they say, well, not how they say, but I'm a witness. God connects things. God puts things, you know what I mean? It's like a puzzle. You go through this so that you can cross over here. You go through that so you can make it over there. You know what I mean? And throughout the years, I didn't see that. But I get it now. And I'm like, oh, wow. So I know, Dad, you had to go. But, but yeah, that's what had left me. But, yeah, but like I say, for the biggest part of it, I know that I fell into mental depression and everything. And, what I'm saying, when I realized that it is not my dad's fault and that he loved me and that, you know what I'm saying, I forgave him, I let it go. And it's like things are changing for me now. I sleep better. I eat better. I'm more focused on my health. I'm more focused on, thriving, being successful, doing what I have to do. Even like you said, I'm trying to be a rapper and I'm going to do it. But I mean, it's just so different now, and mainly because I let it go. I forgave, I let it go. It's like, Daddy. But yeah, so that other kids or whatever, may not experience this or whatever. They may not. But it's a way to deal with it. Just always know, hey, God got you. But yeah, I know that with the dads not there, there's no telling what's going on in the kid's life. You know what I mean? They could be aching. They can be, traumatized or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Other people can be around, and like my uncle, for example, can be taking advantage for that child. So dads, get in your kids' life, especially the girls, because I am a product of that, and I know how devastating it is. So I was telling a friend of mine to, get involved with his daughter's life. She's a little girl. She's a young lady. She's 9 years old. Same age. Whew, excuse me, same age. So I'm really, really, sensitive about that. Anyway, some mess going on or whatever. I'm not going to talk about people's personal lives or whatever.
Right.
But I say, I don't care what the relationship is about or how it is with you and the mother. Call that girl, you call that baby. You get in that baby life, excuse me, because I always had these situations where people like, did you go through something? Yeah, I went through something. I don't want to explain it. I don't want to, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But yeah, I did. And that's a shame because it's like you wearing it on your sleeve. You can't hide it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like a person could just look right at you and just say, something wrong, yeah. Well, if you got a daughter, I'm going to tell you, this is where you don't want her to end up. This is where you don't want her to end up. You don't want to be looking at her. You don't want people looking at her all strange, like something wrong with her. They don't want to be around or whatever. Then get in that daughter's life. Get in that daughter's lives. Y'all hear me? Yeah.
So I always say that fathers validate their daughters. That way, she don't have to look and search. That
Exactly.
way, she has a sense of hope and protection and guidance.
Yes.
A way that she could sing that song. I'm a singer, so I'm going to sing you just a little bit of this. She could say, my daddy loves me so, my daddy loves me so.
Okay.
That type of stuff.
Okay.
And make her own lyrics. I didn't want to sing too much to let them know how
No,
my
they're trying to
vocals
sell
are.
you a record deal.
Right, but at 9 years old, if you recall back then, you having your clothes ready. Did somebody tell you the reason why you weren't going?
Well, I can remember. I was like yesterday. Anyway, my sister, and my mother was in like the living room or whatever, and we had this like, back in the day they had this like, what they call like it was a bar,
Okay.
one of them old school bars.
Old school.
So anyway, we sitting at the bar, whatever, and my mom's all dressed up. She's ready to go because this is my dad's birthday.
Okay.
And she's, his name's Tommy Jr. Everybody call him Tommy Jr. Me and Tommy Jr. we about to get back together. So, she talked to the kids and everything. So, before she walked out the door, the phone rang. And she answers the phone. And I can remember my sister clear as day. Like, Mama, what's wrong? Because she had stopped talking and put her head down. And my sister was like, Mom, she called her a few times. Mom, what's wrong? And she just had her head low and hanging the phone up like, y'all daddy dead. And
Status Network. You can call it at 470-251-4343. Again, fathers, if you're out there and you haven't connected with your children, go ahead and do so. International Fathers is talk show like no other, whereas though there are more dads internationally involved with their children than what society would ever believe or depict it.
I'm okay. I'm all right. It's just that, just thinking back,
I understand. But see, with your tears and your story, see, that is a girl, a young girl or a teenage girl out there somewhere
Don't give up on your
looking
dad.
or
He
even
might-
listening
Yeah.
to what you're saying.
Yeah.
And there's also a dad out there too
Yeah.
that's listening.
Dads, don't let your baby come out like this. I mean, if you have a choice, of course, you know what I mean? Because like I said, okay, it wasn't his decision, but we have some that have a choice and choose not to be there. You don't want this to happen. Don't do that. But yeah, I mean, wow. Yeah, when she said that, and it was like, of course, like I said, at 9 years old, I'm not really understanding that
Right.
that means
Right.
everything, you know what I
Right.
mean? But I just know, oh, wow, I know what that means.
Okay.
So my dad is never going to come to get me. So I ran to the bathroom. I cried. And all I can remember for the next week or two or whatever, I'm just still crying.
Okay.
And I can remember, I don't know if it was my sister, somebody else telling me, say, okay, well, Tammy is not that, no, because we didn't use the term, like, it's not that serious. They said something like, you know what I mean, it's okay.
It's
You don't
okay.
have to cry like that. You don't have to do all that. You don't have to do all that.
But it's
Excuse
not
me?
them that's going through it.
And right after then, you know what I'm saying, that's when I start experiencing like a lot of panic attacks. I'm not knowing what's going on, but all I know is I feel like I'm dying and I'm short on breath. I don't know what's going on. So, like I said, year after year, whatever, or years later, whatever, everything took a total effect, you know what I'm saying, a toll on me, and everything just blew up. Everything was chaotic. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting put out of homes. I'm getting put out of communities. I'm pushing my family away, my friends. I mean, I'm basically a loner now, you know?
Okay.
And it's like, I know everything, like I say, everything do happen for a reason, and I don't really curse that, because God showed me that even in my loneliness, you know what I mean, I'm strong, because this is what I needed. Because I was always the type that if I have an excuse, I can get out of something.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If it rains, I don't have to go do that show.
Okay, gotcha.
If you know what I'm saying? So that fear always created an excuse for me to get out of whatever it is. But see, it's like now that, like I said, it's a lot of things that change. Now that I let go and I realize and I take it for what it is. My daddy, God did this. My daddy in heaven did this for my daddy on earth so that I can be the person I am, developing better. So I get it now, though. I get it now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What's some of the fond memories you have?
I remember some fun. Okay, I'm gonna give you a fun one, and I'm gonna give you a crazy one. The fun one, my dad would always call me to the room to scratch his back, because I had the longest nails, and I don't get them no more. But I had the longest nails, so out of all the kids, he would call me. So of course that made me like, oh yeah, I'm Daddy's the girl in the pic. You know what I mean? So come here, Mookie. That was my nickname. Shh, don't tell nobody. He said, come here, Mookie. Come scratch my back. So I go in there and I scratch it. It even bypassed my mama, so you know I had to be special. So anyway, scratch his back or whatever. Daddy throw me a couple of dollars or whatever. I'm like, yeah, I'm rich. I'm 9 years. No, I'm on 9. I was younger than that. I got this money. I got $2. I'm rich. I'm on top of the world. I'm Daddy's baby. So. So I felt good about that. Now, that's the fun one. The crazy one, I know I'm not the only one that don't like cashews. But my father took me to the show when I was probably about 6 years old. Anyway, that was my very first time tasting cashews. I hated them. I spit them out. But now every time I smell cashews or look at a cashew remind me of my dad. So that's a special.
Wow.
But it's crazy, but it's special. So yeah. So I don't like cashews. Hey, thanks a lot, Dad. Huh?
So would you eat them?
No. Cashews?
Yes.
Oh no.
It just reminds me.
I can't. This is the honest to God truth. If I look at it, if I smell it, I get the breaking out, and so I don't only dislike them. I'm allergic to them.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was ready to bring you like a whole lifetime supply of cashews.
No cashews and no pistachios. Cashews and pistachios I can't do.
Got you.
So I'm going to make a phone.
Yeah, of course. Have you ever gotten, I guess, backlash or either other women challenging you because of how you feel about fathers?
No. Surprisingly, no. But you know, it's like pretty much everybody that know me, they know that I'm an outspoken person. I speak my mind. I feel how I feel. And it's like, okay, to each his own. And even if they do have a gripe with it or they feel some type of way, they don't let me know. So, no, I never really had nobody go against me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just curious because some people may have a backlash when somebody supports something of the opposite.
Exactly. I know exactly what you mean.
And I know people who have backlashes when they either a male supporting female or female supporting male. They get backlash from the same sex.
Yeah.
For something that is positive, but sometimes they may not see it as a norm.
Right.
You know, and like I've expressed throughout a long time, I've written and I've talked about it. Fatherhood is normal. I've written the ABCs of fatherhood, so I say I'm going to try to remember them. The ABCs: A is awesome, B is breathtaking, C is caring, D is delightful, E is enlightenment, F is fantastic, EFI, G is grateful, H is happiness. I'm missing something.
Impressive.
No, I is involvement, I believe. K is kindness. L is lovable. M is magnificent. N is normal. Always obsessive. P is positive, PQ. Q is quality. R is, I forgot what R is. S is stability. STU is unmatched. V is victorious. X is X-ray through the eyes of his children. Y is young at heart, and Z is zealous.
Okay.
That's the ABCs of fatherhood.
ABCs on.
That's right. And if you
Wow.
want to see it, you can go
You
to.
have to write that down because I need.
It is
to
written
remember.
down. You can also see. I made 26 videos.
Mhm.
They're on my YouTube channel. All you have to do is search Nelson Moody Sr. on YouTube, and you can see all those, the ABCs of fathers. Also in my third book, Men of Loving Caring Parents too.
Okay.
And I made the ABCs of fatherhood again for something positive.
Okay.
And I put all the positive in words that affirm who we are as fathers.
Okay.
That we do this, that we hear, that we PTA, we're hospital, we're 3 o'clock in the morning hospital stays, we're talking about education, we're doing class trips, we're teaching chores, we're doing this, we're talking about life in general.
Okay. Mhm.
My children and I, we have a ball. I mean, we touch on just about everything
Okay.
age appropriate for them, and sometimes it go over because they get ready to see a lot more. The girls are 16, my son is 15. So I like to just let them know that these are the things that we do. And of course, they used to say that they love me because I'm their dad. I go, I don't want to hear that. I need more reasons as to why you love me.
Okay.
And children watch what you do. Remember,
That's
children
very
watch
true.
your actions and they watch
That's
you
very
real
true.
closely.
Yeah.
My older twin, she said something to me 3 days ago. I forgot what they were doing, but she came. I was watching TV and she said, "Dad, do you love me?" I said, "Yeah, I do."
Mm.
She said, "Why?" I said, "Girl, you're my daughter." She said, "Give me more reasons than that."
How's it get you right back?
And I gave her reasons, you know. But she that's the one who is outspoken.
Okay.
That's the one.
Alexandria,
That's
those ones
Alexandria.
coming. Okay,
That's the
okay.
one you see who starts a lot of the videos out.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
has a strong, outgoing
Presence. Mhm.
character. Was though she,
Yes.
and you know she's
Yes.
there.
Mhm.
Again, our call number here at Status Network is 470-251-4343, Atlanta, Georgia. But back to you with your dad. Sometimes in life, people say that what they will say if they had a chance to talk to certain people.
Mm.
If your dad was right beside you now,
Mhm.
what was some of the conversation that you would like to have with him?
Well, I would definitely let him know that, like, if,
Before you answer that question, would you go back as far as what may have happened as to why you and your mom weren't together anymore? I say that to say this right here. If mom was alive today,
Mhm.
I wouldn't ask no questions about what happened back then. I don't know what happened. I don't know the truth. I just hear some things.
Right.
But I would want to start my relationship right here with him.
Okay.
I forgot my age, but of course he would be older than me.
1,000.
There you go, 1,000. She's a listener. Y'all know I be saying that. Hello, we have a caller here. Hello?
Mr. Moody, Miss Savage.
Yes, this is Mr. Moody. Who's calling? It sound like Kevin McKinney?
Yeah, first I gotta give honor to the Queen.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Hello.
How you doing? Mac Ford's in rehearsal. But getting back to what you were saying, there's a lot of times that fathers can't be in daughters' lives also because of the custodial parent is feeding them a bunch of nonsense.
Yeah.
So a lot of times they can't be there for their daughters because of that. But that don't mean that that father, the non-custodial father, don't love them any less. It's just to pray to God that the daughter knows and understands.
Right. That's true.
You're exactly correct and right on that. I wouldn't even argue that one with you, because I know some guys back home who in the same boat or shoe or have been, and no matter how hard they tried, they got much resistance to where as though some just say, forget it, and I'll just back off. And until the full story is heard, if it's heard or told, and sometimes it's not told. I always say it's three sides to a story: mine, yours, and the truth.
That sounds like a statement from a Mustang from '82. Just to let you know, and Baltimore is in the house. Queen, you continue to do what you do, and you rap, huh? I could hear collaboration coming.
So Mac 4 all day. Oh yeah.
Y'all keep doing what you're doing, and A King,
yes, sir.
Continue to do what you do.
Sir,
say hello to your kids for me.
I sure will.
Thank you.
Stay blessed.
All right, you too.
No problem.
Thank
you. No, yeah. The boys.
Mac 4, yes, sir. Those were the guys who were here performing.
The younger guys.
Did you see it?
God. Yeah. I was so impressed.
Yeah. They are definitely going places. My first Baltimore guest, I mean, we were 6 deep that day.
Okay.
So we kind of threw the guests from Chicago off course a little bit, and then y'all came back.
Right, I was representing no matter what.
Yeah. But
yeah, that was cool.
What you were saying prior to that call?
Well, you were asking me.
What would you say to him?
To him, okay. I love him. That's first and foremost.
Okay.
You know, I'm not the best, but I'm doing okay. And it's like, you know, I mean, I don't know. You showed me to not give up, because I see my father. Okay. You know what I mean? He was I'm talking about a workaholic, hustleaholic, however you want to say it, you know what I mean? But he was always doing something. He was very involved in his kids' life, you know. My auntie, I know I'm probably going off course or whatever, but my auntie would always remind us, like, oh, you know, your dad loved your sister. And I'm thinking to myself, like, now, like, she don't really have to remind me, because I remember that, you know what I'm saying? Even though it was so long ago, but I remember that, you know what I'm saying? I remember. And this is not, you know, I don't hope it give no negative light or whatever, but my father was a street man. He was a pimp. He was a hustler, you know what I'm saying? And for a man of that stature to be involved in some kids' life, to be the family man, you know what I'm talking about? That's different. It's like, because I watch all the movies like The Mac, you know, Superfly and all them, you know, and it's like, they went into no family hood, you know what I'm saying?
No, they wasn't.
But yeah, that dude, that makes my my dad, to me, of course, you know, a more special person. I would let him know that, Dad, you're a special person. Excuse me, you taught me some ethics, whether you know it or not. But yeah, I was always looking, you know, listening. I don't know. I mean, all I can say is that I know that God let things happen for a reason. So, you know, I'm no longer bitter. I can say I held that for some years. But I'm no longer bitter about that, because I understand now, you know. And it's like, thank you, Dad. Thank you.
That's outstanding. Also, I've noticed, I mean, not I notice now, but I've been noticed once you brought it to my attention that you're wearing Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Yeah, because tonight we actually, which when I leave here, I have to go over to Artisans. In case of you all don't know, it's Artisans Bar and Gallery, and that's on 140 Peachtree Street. So I'm going over there tonight, and I'm performing because they actually have an event. The theme is Pink and Black for Breast Cancer Month. They're you know, this is the month or whatever. So just going over there, do a little poetry like chicken. Excuse me, y'all. Some poetry, spoken word, whatever, you know, and we're just gonna have a good time. So yeah.
Interesting. She did get ahead of me that time. But you have you just finished a book. And a little bit about the book. Before I let her tell the meat of it. She called me one day and told me about the book, and I was really humbled, and I was meek, humble, calm, appreciative, honored. I guess some more words that mean humble and appreciative. So if y'all know some more words out there, please send them to me. Here's 470-251-4343. The finished product of it was kind of when she came on the show and she was able to express
right, the forgiveness of my dad, expressing me actually letting go, because for so many years, like I said, I would always think and I would always say, well, yeah, I forgive my dad. Like, I'll repeat the story. My aunt in Florida, she had just told me that I need to forgive my dad. She also mentioned my mom and myself or whatever. So of course I'm thinking, like, forgive my dad for what? You know what I mean? And of course I put two and two together and it's like, oh, okay. So it's like the night before, I'm God. You already know. He uses me as a, a speaker to his people, address people, whatever. So I'm like, God, give me something to say. And just like he did many times before, I just took my hand and I just got to write. So anyway, it was a poem to my dad, and I said all the things that I needed to say, but mostly I just wanted to let him know I forgive him. And at that time was when I had my release. And it was like, honest to God, like it felt like something was like a load was just lifting off me, you know what I'm saying, physically, like, and I'm like, but that was it. So I'm not going to say like I don't have any issues or not, at all, and because it's not definitely not overnight. But like I said, now I'm in a much better place. I think better. My head is clear. Like I said, I'm sleeping better. Everything is just because I let my dad. Well, I forgave my dad and I let it go.
I'm gonna read a little description about the book. Reality Speaks is a memoir of Tamara Yvonne, where she shares her experiences that have affected her mentally, causing her to have a diagnosis of mental illness. Tamara was urged to share her story in her own words because she felt that it was important for others to understand her, take note of her coping skills, methods, and ultimately show her growth. Tamara, depending on what part of the country you're from, also wanted to encourage others who may have mental illnesses, have family with it, or of course know someone who suffers from it. And when she told me that part of her being on International Fathers Talk Show helped her get over that and finish it, I felt real good, because as I said before, I tell my children that I never know whose life can be affected in a positive manner, positive way, hearing something on here, or listen to one of my guests. All my guests are amazing, and each one of them had their own stories about their dad. Tracy Smalls, I still have my children still have the best dad. You can call in, or you can call me or text me. You know how to contact me. But again, I was humbled when you told me that.
Sure.
I got a little teary-eyed.
It's all God, baby.
Because I didn't expect nothing like that, a book, to come out, you being a guest on this show here.
It's all good.
You know, and as a token of my appreciation, I want to give you some pens and a book for you to start your
my
second
next
book.
Right? I get it. Oh, wow.
Token of my appreciation.
Thank you. Now, I might get up and get still going on.
Once I get rolling, and once International Fathers get more bigger to next levels, it'll be giving away. I could give away a laptop or a computer.
Okay.
This is the last quarter of the year, and some stuff is brewing as far as International Fathers is concerned. That's going to take International Fathers Talk Show to the next level, because it's a talk show like no other. We got about probably like 7 more minutes here. You want to give I'm going to give what I normally say first, and then I'll let you take us out.
All right.
If you know a father out there and you would like to see him on the talk show International Fathers, send in a 350-word essay as to why he should be on International Fathers Talk Show, along with a short bio and your contact information to Nelson L. Moody Sr. at gmail.com. That's NELSONLMOODY Senior SR at gmail.com. We can Skype you in. You can also be in here. Remember, we are inspiring, we're encouraging fathers, being part of their children's lives. We also saluting and honoring fathers. No negativity here. It's all positivity. Status Network here in Atlanta, Georgia. International fathers are taught so like no other. Fathers, 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 call those children. And children, call those fathers. Fathers, fathers, hug those children. And children, hug those fathers. We're going to let Big Mama Savage take us out.
Well, first, the title Reality Speaks today is available at Amazon.com as well as BarnesandNoble.com, and it is only available in the ebook version at this time. But you can get a copy there. It's priced to fit basically any budget, $6.99. So you can get your copy, and I'm quite sure that you would enjoy it. It's entertaining as well as educating as well as just me, And as you all heard, I said in my own voice how I felt, how I dealt with things, experiences that I went through, And I just basically just took the sugar off and just let it go, So anyway, get you a copy. Also, if you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram, and that's at Reality Speaks. So all in one word, REALITEE. That's said too many times. TEESPEAKZZZ. Putting that ZZZ on the emphasis of Z. So it Reality Speaks. Really give it to them. Also, you can catch me on Twitter at PrettyBaby81275. So that's PRETTY 81275. Big Mama Savage. Also on IG at Big Mama Savage. So I wanted to do my thing.
So a lot of my guests have been authors. You also got Anthony Dean. You can follow him on Facebook. He's also author in Atlanta. And also V Speak Life. Remember, she just had a feature in the Florida newspaper, or Atlanta going to Florida. But V Speak Life is also domestic violence month.
Okay.
Yes, it is. Domestic violence is in many ways.
Yeah.
You have resources out there to help you get over it and to get out of it. I guess that there is never a total healing from it.
Yeah.
If I may say that.
Yeah, you're right.
But it's also Domestic Violence Month. V Speak Life has written a book about that. Maybe she'll come on here one day and talk about it. Again, International Fathers, a talk show like no other. Until next time.